If he keep advising you and you retain him, it can only be assumed that his advice coincides with your value system. So it is the guy, the driver, not the motorboy. When that incident happened, and this is part of the frustrations in leadership, and where civil society should also focus. It's good to focus as we do on leadership, but I think it would be a complete activism if we don't also focus on the attitude of followership. We need to do both to get real changes that are sustainable. When I got to Edo State, not one road had walkways or sidewalks, no street light, no traffic light. But even as a labor man, when I traveled to Brussels to attend International Trade Union Conference or to Geneva to attend labor, I found that man and vehicle don't compete for space. Every road had walkways. And when my engineers in the Ministry of War designed the first road, I asked about the walkways. They said, no, the road is wide enough. And I said, no. Road is wide or narrow is not the issue. Man and vehicle should never compete for space. So every road we are going to build in the city must provide, first, wide enough, whether dual carriageway or single carriageway. It must have sidewalks on both sides, not less than 2 meters each. And we must have street light, because life should not end at 6 p.m. And we must have drainage to protect those roads. Of course, this costs more money, but the concept of cost must be in relation to quality and specifications. And today, in all the jobs we have done in Benin, not one road have we built without sidewalks and without drainage. And we are installing street lights to return night life, so that night economy can also return and create more night jobs. There are several categories of night job: the good, the bad, and the ugly. But that's what makes society. That is what makes society. And there is no need to pretend that we can have one without the other. One goes with the other. You know, there is this talk about the role of young people. It is not as straightforward as my comrade sister suggests. There are corrupt youths with wrong role models. The only thing they parade is age, but age tells us nothing about values. After all, when a king gives birth to a baby boy, a prince, is already a king in the making. People with royal blood, we always have their royal values. So no big deal about age, but there's something also important about age, the energy. But where you channel it to is a function of values. Values shaped by your teacher, values shaped and influenced by your parents, or outside your teacher, outside your parents, the one you choose to copy from far away. Which is why I think going forward, what President Buhari is doing for me is the way to deal with a lot of the issues that people have raised. The role of money in politics. Sir, you will agree, my brother from Niger, what it costs to get elected to the Senate, House of Rep, or even as a governor in 1999, when not many people had access to free money. By the time those first set of governors came in, the cost of electioneering went up because access to public fund was widened through corrupt practices. Now, if the anti-corruption crusade succeed and remove rent collection from the system, and there is strong leakage between effort and reward, nobody can go to NNPC, hawk a paper, and you get a subsidy of 2, 3, 4, 5 billion. Or you are given a contract that was never meant to be executed, you take 10 billion, you balance the books, even auditors will sign off, because they also properly paid a percentage of what they covered. Now, if you have such free money, My brother, sermon will not do it. Moral rearmament will not do it. Because these are not the result of ignorance. And let me give you an example. Somebody said this, and I'd like you to reflect on it. A former president, now I'm not going to be too courageous, so we don't abuse the elders. Although he's younger, but he has had a higher responsibility. A former president who people around him are currently singing like witches and wizards about what they took, how they share, where they share with, whether it was through bank, which bank, where, and so on. All of those 15, 20 billion or 40 billion dollars that we're talking about, if you take him to White House in US and make him the president of America, he might not change the American economy, but he will not be able to steal $50,000 because of strong institutions. And those strong institutions are so strong that they limit your undisclosable intention. Now, until we get there, reform our institutions, fight corruption, and defeat it, there's no more free money. Those who get cheap money, we generally deploy it in ways that will enable them to make even more money. My friend, you have to invest the instrument that you have. If I have no character, I have no family name, I have no integrity, I can't go to the electorate and say, elect me, you know I have no character. But to stop them from investigating my character, I go to the electorate and as they assemble, take 10 million naira, go and share. I need your vote. Because it is money that I have. I am not going to preach to people like that, not to do it. But even the richest, real rich man, who you can see through their means of wealth, they can't share money like that. And that is why politics has been more monetized before, post 2003 compared to 1999. And people have even argued, and that is the point I believe Professor was trying to make, that when the military promised to hand over, the critical segment of civil society said, don't trust soldiers. The military cannot give birth to a democracy. And common sense examples, you know, a goat cannot give birth to a dog. But as you can see, sometimes logic might be one thing, reality might be another. Those who then choose to get involved, they were honest people like, who has a history, Donald Duke, certainly not a history on the street, but the history is being in the business, making legitimate business and making money. Of course they came out. Then there are also other categories of people who had cheap money then, the 419ers. They also came out. While the civil society carried the placard, they were navigating their way to 36 state government houses. Contradictions? Yes. That is why I say you can choose to be a hunter's dog. Go to the bush, keep going for the grass cutter, you bring it home. While the elderlies are eating, you return to the bush. So for me, it's not about sermon. If corruption succeeds, free money is eliminated, there is leakage between effort and reward, nobody who labored to make money will throw it to people for electoral purpose. That way, issues rather than money will have upper hand in our political process. My experience with young people, again, we link it to corruption. If we administer a questionnaire in a typical gathering of 200 young people and put the question, do you want to be a priest? I emphasize priest, not pastor. Because a pastor king has been convicted to death. So it seems quite easy to have those appellations. But I know in the Catholic Church there are processes very rigorous. But we still have very honest pastors. It's just that these days, like a young manager told me, when you recruit rogues, conscious that they are rogues, they carry the Bible. So you say, this is a SIU born again. But the truth, nobody, it's so hard to be born again really. If indeed you were not really properly born. It's easier said than done when we can look at the heart beyond the lips.